Yeah.
How does a person give hope to someone who is struggling with addiction in light of maintaining that hope and fear, especially after relapse? Are their du'as accepted at all? So those struggling with addiction, what would you advise to them, and are their du'as accepted?
You know, subhanAllah, one thing that one has to pay attention to is that people are different in the way they deal with the sin. And some people, I'll be honest with you, some people, and I want people to hear this with their hearts. I don't want to hear that. I don't want this to be that I am commanding the sin. That's not what I'm meaning here. But some people struggle on a daily basis, like that struggle that you sin and you wake up and you pull yourself up and you clean yourself and then you come back and then you sin. The person sins and then come back and then he sins and come back. The analogy that I give is no matter what you are, no matter what type of, no matter how bad is your diaper, no matter how bad and stinky, sorry for the so, you always find yourself in the door of Allah knocking. No matter what state you are, clean or not clean, don't find yourself far away from that door. You'd rather die and you're knocking that door in any state you are than finding yourself far away from that door. If he opens for you while you're alive, knocking that door, alhamdulillah, you're admitted and he'll clean you and he'll take care of you and that's it. If you die knocking that door, he will open for you and find you dead in his door. And there is no better way to be except that you be cling to his door, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So no matter where you're at, find yourself in the door of Allah Ta'ala, come back to him again and again and again and again and again. There are multiple hadith about this. There's a hadith around Imam Tirmidhi that the Prophet ﷺ talks about a man who sins and then he said, oh Allah, forgive me. And then Allah Ta'ala says, you know, my servant knows that only when I can forgive sins. And he came back to me, I forgive you. And then he sins again. And then he said, oh Allah, forgive me. I don't know anybody to go back to. And then he forgives him. And then he comes back again. And then and so on and so forth. Until there is a moment when Allah Ta'ala said, oh my servant, I forgive you. As long as you come back to him. The Prophet ﷺ said in the Hadith Qudsi, Abdi, لو أتيتني بملء الأرض خطايا وجئت لا تشرك بي شيئا غفرت لك ولا أبالي. Servant of mine, if you come to me with the whole earth filled with sins, that's what you have done. The whole earth filled with sins. You've done it all of it, the whole gamut, the whole 9 yards, right? All of it sins, right? And you come to me not associating any gods with me, I will forgive you and I wouldn't care. I will forgive you. And that wouldn't be a thing to me. It's nothing, right? So we always hope. Anybody who is down, you always give them hope. You always talk to them about the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's all about their love. You always wake them up to the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You always wake them up to the ni'am of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You always tell them how much you're right. The prodigal son story, right? You all know the story of the prodigal son. But the person who is in the path, the person who is like, alhamdulillah, they don't have addiction, they're going through, then they have to have a little bit time to time. One has to vacillate between hope and awe and fear. Vacillate. Sometimes it's not you. Allah Ta'ala pulls you with the ropes of kindness through fear, and He put it in your heart. And sometimes Allah Ta'ala pulls you, through the ropes of love. Sometimes you're constricted, and sometimes you're open and relaxed. And that's how Allah. He's the one who makes people, the one who makes weep, makes people cry, and the one who makes people happy. Right. So one just has to pay attention to the situation of the person and cater to them in a very good way. And if you don't know how to cater to them, then don't do it. Leave it. Get them to attach with themselves to the people of Allah Ta'ala, so they know what to deal with them. They know how to deal with them. Right? If we don't know how to deal with the people like that, let's connect them to the people of Allah. Let's connect them to the teachers who know how to deal with the anfus, with the souls that are agonized souls like that. Right? And the agonized souls, my dear brothers and my dear sisters, are closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those agonized souls that we see are the closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because they're humbled. They're on their knees. And the dua of somebody who is on their knees is closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the one who is well fed, well dressed, everything is fine, everything and so on. And then they make dua. It may come out of their heart or may not come of their heart properly. But those, their dua is deep, their dua is, their state speaks about them, right? So we encourage them to utilize that state of theirs to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought people who were kafir far away, right? And they make them the Umars of the worlds and Abu Bakrs of the worlds and the Bilals of the worlds and and so on. But where are they before? Where they come from? How far they come from? Very far. And he brought them in, and he made them who they are, what they were, right? So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us mercy to the people. We ask Allah ta'ala to grant us wisdom, so we don't cater in the same way to everybody. So we understand the differences of people and what people are going through, and that's the prophetic way, and that's the Quranic way.